So, I wanted to talk a little bit today about how I am going to be remarkable this year.
Welcome to the PowHERhouse Podcast for founders and leaders, scaling smart and thriving without burnout. I'm Nicholle Overcamp. Stay with me here and let's get better together.
So, every year I choose a word of the year, and it becomes the annual theme, if you will, that I try to use as just a central anchor for the decisions that I make, how I feel. And I also integrate this. It's my word of the year for not just my personal life, but also for the business and the team and how everything integrates seamlessly. And so I wanted to talk about this because I think that it is important when thinking about the next 12 months. And if you aren't listening to this in January, maybe it is later in the year, you don't need to wait until next January to pick a theme for the year or a word of the year. You can do this anytime, but since it is the start of the year and we're talking about this and creating our goals and vision, I wanted to say, the significance of choosing a word for the year helps simplify things. So you have all of your goals, your daily rituals or habits and routines, and all of the planning work that you do or the strategy sessions that you have to make sure that you're able to accomplish your 2026 goals. Your vision board is probably pretty busy. It's got a lot on there, a lot of goals, words, pictures, all the things that you want to achieve or who you're becoming in those bits and pieces. And day to day, you may look at that visual, but there needs to be an overarching word that can help tie it together in a simple way that you can just repeat to yourself. And so that's why I have done that, because there's so many things to remember, and I'm not looking at my plan every day. I do look at my daily habits now so that I am more likely to accomplish the things, and I have a tracker for that. But having that one word anchor, I have found to be pretty profound. Sounds really simple and silly, but not so silly. It makes a big difference. So in past years, I've used the words freedom, impact, growth, and this year I'm choosing remarkable. And it just feels right for the season of life that I am in, and also what I want to deliver to my team, for my team, and what my team delivers to our clients. And so for the personal side, it's looking at everything that I choose to say yes to. Is this going to be a remarkable experience? Is it worth remembering? Will I talk about it later? How will I feel when I show up to spaces, whether it is just a walk and talk with a friend or a meeting with clients or running a leadership meeting with my team? Am I being remarkable? Am I leaving remarkable footprints? Am I showing up with energy? Am I showing up with empathy? Am I showing up with inspiration and really delivering as my fullest self? Or am I half-assing it? And this year, I want to make sure that I am doing the things I need to do for me personally to feel remarkable so I can show up and be remarkable. It is part of how I want to make sure that I'm paying attention to all the little things that stack up. I don't want to get lazy. I don't want to quit on myself. I want to remember that I'm worth the effort so that I can continue to do everything on my vision board. And I've got some pretty good BHAGs on there, and part of, to me, and be remarkable too, is being grounded and present and proud of how I'm showing up and not feeling that ping of regret after, like, oh, I could have done better, or I really didn't bring it, or I was dragging ass that day, So for me, that is really leading with all of the things that I want to have happen this year and how I want to feel. So being remarkable around the people that are in my life, I want them to feel seen. I want them to feel supported, and I want to feel calm and clear and more confident. And for my team, I want to show up with intention and with clarity and high standards and care. And I don't want them to feel chaotic. I want to avoid that urgency for urgency's sake and kicking in the can down the road, So that is how I defined remarkable. And even in our team rock for the first quarter and the annual goal and the scorecard that I put together for the team to look at daily, weekly, monthly, especially as they're doing their huddles, the word of the year in the company is remarkable. And I defined it for them as well in what that means, just like I define our core values and our standards, because it is so important that if you pick a word for you, it's easy to define that and what it means to you. You know exactly how you're going to show up in that. But if you're using a word for somebody else or a team to follow, you want to make sure that they understand the definition and the context of which you're using it in. So I did that and highlighted it within our core goals. And so the word for the year, I said, I want to be remarkable in what we do, remarkable in how we make clients feel when they leave meetings with us, remarkable in the client experience, remarkable about how we feel about the impact we make and the respect and love that we hold for each other, not just as a team, but as a family. And so that to me was a perfect anchor to set the tone for the year. And I want them to reflect on that as well and how they are doing their day-to-day job and the responsibilities that they have and that how they're showing up for each other. Is that emulating in their feelings and their actions in the full circle of their role as a part of the team? And then also showing up for themselves, each other, and our clients. And then what I did to take remarkable a step further, and I hope this is helpful too for those of you with teams and as you're thinking about motivating them and putting together your strat plan for the year, I'm sure many of you have done this already, is that I took the goals. And so our first quarter goal is actually operational excellence. So the first quarter, the priority of the team is to really work toward operational excellence, removing redundancies, making sure that we have fine-tuned and reworked all of our systems because we had a lot of growth last year. And as you know, growth shows cracks. And so they're going to work on that. They're going to work on seeing where we can implement technology and ensuring too that every team member is in their zone of genius and helping to fill any gaps or cracks. So operational excellence and is part of our overall goals and what we need to accomplish for the year for our revenue goals. That operational excellence needs to support that. So we need to make sure that we have proper capacity and ability to deliver on the activity that it will require to achieve our revenue goals. And so what remarkable looks like in achieving that first quarter rock is it looks like clients feel seen, guided, and confident at every step. So that is part of the systems for our customer service or client service. What it also means is that we communicate fast, clearly, and kindly, internally and externally. And what remarkable looks like within this goal is we prepare thoroughly, follow through relentlessly, and take ownership without excuses. We fix weak points instead of stepping around them. And we win together. Nobody works in a silo. And I'm going to take remarkable when we get to our second quarter goal and so on and so forth and really break it down and define it. So I thought I would just share this as a little quickie today because if you have not yet chosen your word of the year and your theme, I challenge you to do that. Set the tone for how you want to feel. If you have a team, set the tone for how you want the team to feel. And importantly, how they will use that word as their compass and their anchor for the next 12 months ahead. So until next time, my powerhouses, continue to be courageous.